1. Introduction. My name is Anna. I am 55 years old. This is the story of my son, Henry. Henry is 30 years old. This story is about our difficult life together. It is a story of pain, anger, change, and love between a mother and her adult son. I wake up very early every day. I start my day at 6 o'clock in the morning. I must make breakfast for myself and for Henry. I clean the kitchen and the living room. I wash the clothes. I clean the floors, I clean the bathroom, and I prepare dinner every evening. I do all the housework alone. My routine is difficult and long. I work hard at my job outside the home, and then I work hard inside the home. I never have time for myself. I feel tired all the time. I feel like a maid, not a mother in my own house. Henry does not help me with anything. He sleeps late every morning. He usually wakes up around noon. He does not have a job. He stopped going to college a long time ago. Now he stays at home every day. His main activity is playing video games. He plays on his computer for many hours, sometimes until the sun rises. He rarely leaves the house. He does not care about the future. He only cares about the games he plays online with his friends. He thinks this is a normal way to live. When I ask Henry to help, he always says no. He says he is too busy or too tired from playing games. I feel very sad when he says this. I feel exhausted by my life. I carry a heavy burden every day. I feel trapped inside my own house because of this situation. I cannot rest. Henry is a man, but he acts like a boy. He is 30 years old. He should be working and building his life. I want him to be independent and strong, but he refuses to grow up. Watching him waste his life causes me great pain. I see my dreams for his future disappearing slowly. This is the hardest part of my daily life. It is a constant worry. I often ask myself, why is he like this? When will things change? This situation has continued for many years. It is hard to live with someone who refuses responsibility. I love my son, but my patience is ending. The pain of this life is too much. This is where our story begins. 2. The expensive computer. Anna came home from her job one afternoon. She was very tired. She worked hard every day and always looked forward to resting. Her body felt heavy, and her mind felt slow. She needed quiet time after a long day of work. She opened the front door and walked into the house. But the house was not quiet, and it was not normal. There was something new in the living room. Anna saw a large, brown box sitting on the main table. The box was very big. It did not look like normal mail or groceries. Anna walked closer to the table. She looked at the box carefully. It seemed very heavy. She wondered what was inside this large package and why it was in her house. Anna used a knife to open the box. Inside, she found a new machine. It was a computer, not a simple computer, but a very modern and expensive one. Anna's hands began to shake immediately. She knew this item was not cheap. She remembered that Henry often talked about needing a faster computer for his video games. Anna quickly took her phone from her pocket. She looked at her bank messages right away. There was a text message from the credit card company. The message showed a huge charge. The number was very high. Anna felt cold. Henry had used her credit card. He had spent a lot of money without saying one word to her. This was not a small mistake. This was a very big problem. Anna felt a terrible heat rise inside her body. It felt like fire in her chest. She was shocked, and then she was extremely angry. She worked every single day for money. She paid for everything in the house. Henry did nothing, and now he had taken her money for a new machine to play games. She stood up straight and shouted Henry's name. Henry walked into the room slowly. He looked relaxed. He smiled a little bit, like he had a small secret. He saw the open box and the new computer. He looked at his mother. Anna held her phone tightly in her hand. "Did you buy this?" she asked. Her voice was low and dangerous. Henry did not seem worried. "Yes, Mom," Henry said simply. "It arrived today. It is the best one. I need it for the new games." He spoke about the expensive computer as if it were a simple pencil. Anna looked at her son. He was 30 years old, but he acted like a child who did not understand money or work. Anna felt a storm starting inside her head. The anger was too big. She knew she could not stay quiet this time. This expensive computer was the final thing. 3. The fight. We started a massive argument. I was very angry about the expensive computer. I shouted at Henry. He shouted back at me. I felt many years of frustration come out of my mouth. I told Henry that I was not his maid. I told him I was not his bank. I said he must stop using me for money and work. I had done everything for him for many years, and I was finished being his free worker. The fight became very loud. My voice was rough from shouting. I told Henry that I was 55 years old. I worked very hard every day. I woke up at 6 in the morning to clean and cook. He slept until 12 every day. I said he treated me like a servant, not his mother. I told him that I paid for everything, the food, the house, the clothes, and now the new, expensive computer. I showed him the credit card bill. The number was very high. He just shrugged his shoulders. This action made me even angrier. I felt sick from the stress. I told him that he was 30 years old. A grown man should not live like this. He should take responsibility for his own life. Henry did not listen. He made many excuses. He said that I did not understand his life. He said his life was hard for him. He told me he needed more time to find a job. He kept saying, "Wait, Mom, just wait." He promised he would change next month. I told him, no more waiting. I had waited for 10 years, 10 years of broken promises. I told him that I loved him, but I loved myself too. I needed peace in my home. I needed to stop being tired all the time. I looked at him with a hard face. I gave him an ultimatum. I told him he must leave my house. I said, "You must go now." Henry looked shocked. He could not believe that I would make him leave. I stood very tall. I did not look away. I told him that he must learn to be independent. He must learn to pay his own bills. He must learn to cook his own food. After the shock passed, anger came back to his face. He walked fast into his room and slammed the door. I heard things moving inside. The packing was slow and full of heavy sighs. Every minute felt like 1 hour. I stood in the hallway, listening to the end of our old life. He came out with 2 large bags. He did not look at my face. He walked past me, toward the front door. I felt tears in my eyes, but I kept my face hard. The pain had just begun. Henry leaves. Henry finished packing his bags. The big argument was over. I watched him walk toward the door. He did not look back at me. He opened the door and then closed it. The front door closed with a soft sound. Suddenly, the house was completely silent. It was a strange silence. I was used to the noise of his video games or the sound of him walking around late at night. Now there was nothing. I walked slowly to the kitchen. I sat down at the table. I looked at the clock on the wall. I felt 2 different emotions at the same time. One feeling was relief. I was finally free from the stress and the fighting. I felt a weight lift from my shoulders. It was the weight of carrying another person's life. The other feeling was a deep, cold sadness. He was my son, and now he was gone. The next few days were very quiet and strange. My daily routine changed completely. I woke up at 6 in the morning, but I did not have to rush. I did not have to clean up his mess. I did not have to wash his clothes. I had more time to rest. I slept more hours than before. For the first time in many years, I felt my body relax. I only cooked for myself. I ate a small meal and went to bed early. I realized how much energy I used to spend just worrying about him. Even though my days were easier, the nights were difficult. Every night I worried about Henry. I thought about where he was sleeping. Was he safe? Did he have enough money to buy food? Was he cold? I wondered if he hated me for making him leave. This worry was a constant pain in my heart. I wanted to call him, but I knew I could not. If I called him, I would break the rule I made. I told myself I must stay strong. Henry is 30 years old. He needed to learn that his actions have consequences. He needed to feel the struggle. I hoped he understood that my decision came from love, not anger. I believed this was the only way for him to grow up. He must learn to be independent. I remained firm in my decision. I would not change my mind. 5. Henry struggles. Many days passed after Henry left. I waited, but my phone stayed quiet. Henry did not call me directly. I had no idea where he was sleeping or if he was safe. This silence was difficult for a mother. I worried constantly, but I remained firm in my decision. I started to check social media often. I did not contact him, but I watched what he posted. I saw that Henry was having a very hard time. He looked tired and stressed in the pictures he shared. He posted messages asking people for help. He urgently needed a cheap room to rent near the city. He also needed to find a job very quickly to pay for rent and food. To get money, Henry had to start selling his personal belongings. He sold his expensive video games that he loved so much. He sold some of his better clothes and other items that he had collected. It was clear he needed every dollar just to survive and buy basic food. Seeing this made me feel a huge mix of emotions. I felt deep sadness that my son was struggling so much on his own. Soon, I started hearing news about Henry from other people we both knew. They told me that Henry finally found a job. It was a part-time position working at a small grocery store near the main bus station. This job demanded that he wake up very early in the morning, sometimes before 6 o'clock. He used to sleep until noon, but now his life was completely different. People told me Henry took the crowded public bus every day to get to work. He was learning how to cook simple meals for himself, often just pasta, rice, or eggs. He was learning how to manage his time and make his small amount of money last. He looked lost and sometimes unhappy, people said, but he did not stop trying. He kept pushing forward. I felt two strong feelings at the same time. I felt incredibly proud of him for finally learning independence and responsibility. But I also felt guilty for forcing him into this difficult life. I knew I caused his hardship, but I hoped this hard way was the only true path for Henry to finally become a man. 6. The slow change. The weeks moved slowly at first. Then, weeks turned into months. Henry had been gone for many months now. I still missed him sometimes, but I knew the distance was necessary for him. I heard news about him from friends and family who saw him in town. The news was always good. Henry was starting to change. This change was slow, like a tree growing in winter, but it was real. He worked at the small store every day. He did not sleep late anymore. He woke up very early, sometimes before the sun came up. He learned how to be a responsible employee. His boss at the store told other people that Henry worked hard. He was reliable and always arrived on time. He learned how to talk respectfully to customers and his coworkers. This news made me feel a little proud of his strong efforts. Living alone taught Henry many new things. When he lived with me, I did everything for him. Now, he had to do all the chores himself. He learned essential life skills quickly. He learned how to clean his small room until it was tidy. He learned how to wash his clothes correctly. He learned how to cook simple meals instead of eating expensive fast food all the time. He had to manage his money very carefully. He could not buy expensive things like new computers now. He learned to save every dollar he earned. Henry also changed the way he spent his free time. He stopped playing video games for many hours every day. He understood that games were not a real future. Instead, he started thinking seriously about his professional future. He spent time fixing his resume. He looked for training programs. He studied how to find a better job that offered more money and stability. He wanted a career, not just a small, part-time job. People who saw Henry said he looked very different. He looked tired sometimes because he worked hard, often 6 days a week, but he also looked stronger. He stood taller. He looked like a man now, not the lazy boy who lived in my house. He spoke to people kindly. He did not ask for money or favors from others. He took responsibility for his own actions and his own life. Hearing these stories made my own feelings change, too. The sharp anger I felt about the expensive computer and our terrible fight started to go away. It faded slowly, like a picture losing its color. I felt less worried about him every night. He was learning how to stand on his own 2 feet. He was growing up and becoming independent. I realized that sending him away was painful for both of us, but it was the right thing to do. The slow change was finally happening. It was the positive change I had waited for 30 years. I started to hope for a future where we could talk again soon. 7. The apology. One evening, the house was quiet. I was reading a book in the living room. Suddenly, I heard a sound. Someone knocked on the front door. My heart began to beat very fast. I felt extremely nervous. My hands started to shake a little bit. I knew in my mind that it was Henry. After many months of silence, he was finally here. I walked slowly to the front door. I took a deep breath to calm myself. I opened the door and saw my son. Henry stood on the porch. He looked much different now. His clothes were simple, but they were clean. He looked thinner than before. He also looked very nervous, like a young boy. He held a small paper bag in his hands. He did not look directly at my eyes right away. "Hello, Mom," he said quietly. His voice sounded lower than I remembered. "Hello, Henry," I answered. My voice was soft and careful. He asked me a question. "Can we eat dinner together tonight? I brought some food for us to share." I nodded my head slowly. "Yes, Henry, please come in." We went straight to the kitchen. We sat down at the large wooden table. This table was the place where we had our terrible fight many months ago. Now, the table was quiet. We ate the food he brought. It was simple food, but it tasted good. We did not talk much while we ate. The silence felt heavy, but it was not an angry silence this time. It was a silence of waiting. When the plates were empty, Henry pushed his chair back a little. He looked down at his hands for a minute. Then he looked up directly at my face. His eyes were serious and honest. "Mom," he started, "I am truly sorry." His words were clear. They felt very real and very deep. He said he was sorry for everything that happened. He said he was sorry for buying the expensive computer without asking. He said he was sorry for sleeping all day and doing nothing. He said he was sorry for treating my house like a free hotel. "I was lazy," he admitted. "I was very selfish. I only thought about what I wanted. I did not see how much pain I caused you. I was completely wrong to hurt you so much." He stopped talking. He waited for me to speak. I could not speak right away. I felt a great weight lift from my chest. I started to cry just a little bit. I cried quietly, but Henry saw my tears. Then Henry started to cry too. He did not try to hide his face. He let the tears fall. He was not the angry boy from before. He was a man who felt true regret. I reached across the table. I took his hand in mine. His hand felt warm and strong. It was a moment of true peace. We did not need more words. We just sat there, mother and son, holding hands. The long, difficult journey of anger was finally ending. I felt a deep sense of hope for the future. A new beginning. Henry starts to come to my house often. He visits me regularly now. He comes maybe 2 or 3 times every week. But he does not live here. He still lives in his own small apartment. This independence is very important for both of us. He is learning to stand on his own 2 feet. When he visits, he helps me. He does not sit and play games all day. He helps me clean the house. He washes the dishes and sweeps the floor. He fixes small things that are broken, like the kitchen cabinet door. We talk much more now. Our conversations are easy and friendly. He asks me about my job. I ask him about his day. He is not the angry boy from before. Henry has a new job. It is a good job at a construction company. He works very hard every day, starting early in the morning. He saves his money carefully. He is proud of the small life he is building for himself. He often tells me about his work and his future plans. I listen carefully, and I feel happiness inside my heart. I am very proud of him too. Our relationship changed completely. It is much warmer now than it was for many years. It is built on a new kind of respect. We respect each other's space and feelings. He respects my home and my rules. I respect his efforts and his new independence. I feel a great relief every day. I do not worry about him constantly anymore. I do not feel trapped in my own house. The heavy burden I carried for 30 years is finally gone. Before, I felt like I had to carry him like a child. I had to pay for everything, cook for him, and clean up his messes. Now he carries himself. He is a responsible man. He manages his own finances and his own problems. This is the change I demanded. This is the change he needed to make to become happy. It took much fighting and pain, but the change truly happened. Our story was full of sadness and stress. There was much anger between us for a long time, but now there is hope and peace. We found a better way to be mother and son. This is a new beginning for both of us, a truly fresh start. The house is quiet, but it is not empty. It is peaceful and full of promise. I am happy to see my son finally growing up.